Welcome back. This is a State of the Nation show, and with me in studio is Ambassador Esther Waringa. Esther Waringa is the PSG president, that is Public Service Governance President in Kenya, and we are discussing corruption. Corruption has been an ill in our Kenyan society, and there has been so much talk about dealing with corruption, and today we are looking at those issues. Why has it been difficult to deal with corruption? So Esther Waringa, does corruption and politics have a link?
In our Kenyan society, yes. Because the mighty and the powerful are able to influence, those who are in politics are able to influence our judicial systems. They are able to influence the systems that are supposed to give us the truth, the systems that are supposed to give us a non-corrupt state of a nation. They are being influenced by those who have money. For example, we have seen very powerful people in this nation, cases taken to the court, but because they have the power, they have the political will, they have the political capacity, they have the money to be able to influence the systems, either through bribing or any other form of influence, such that we don't get results. We wait, Kenyans wait, and we don't get results, we don't get them interdicted. So at the end of the day, so that's why we are having NYS too. Basically, NYS too. And corruption continues because there isn't something, there are no results that we are getting out of corruption. Recently, I had just a brief engagement with the Director of Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. And I was sharing with him that we have been taking many cases to court because of corruption. But how far are we in terms of achieving results? What percentage of results can the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission give Kenyans? That since we were set as a commission, these are the results that we have brought to Kenyans so far. Do we have any that we can put comfortably on the table that can translate the billions we are spending to sustain the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the staffing, the everything? Do we have any result that translates to this money that the exchequer is ejecting to this commission? And I would highly appreciate if the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission would work together even with public service governance, because our PSG motto is living for the sake of one another. Because in PSG, as we set a government without elections, we are talking about fighting corruption through every Kenyan embracing the spirit of living for one another. If you are a teacher, live for the sake of that child, then you will never miss classrooms. Because even a teacher missing lessons is another form of corruption. I'm a government official. I should serve any citizen of Kenya coming to my desk with all due diligence, with all integrity, and upholding high ethical standards. Therefore, I would request and I would be happy to see Kenyans embracing the spirit of living for the sake of one another. Because if we live for the sake of one another and see each other or one another as a human being who was created to enjoy life like you do, then life would be better. It's usually very hurting when anyone goes to an office. Like we have been having so much corrupt cases even in the RAD sector, that you just want a title deed. And you are told, for us to come and search, or for us to process your title deed, you have to give us this amount. I had an old lady sometimes, and actually she cried, and she was sharing with a lot of bitterness that the Ministry of RADS has taken her through serious, unwarranted or uncalled for processes for her just to get a title deed. Why don't we live for such a human being? Why don't we eliminate in our systems this animal called money? Money is good, but once it is misused, once we take money to influence our thinking, We take money to influence our beings, who we are. That money in Kenya has become the center of everything. See our churches. That before a blessing is released to you, you have to pay what they are calling a seed. It's good, I have no problem if it is done according to the biblical standards. But now we have gone too much. That for you to get a job, bring me 100,000 as a pastor so that I can pray for you. What kind of a society? Can I request that we get out of this unethical way of doing things? We completely change our mindset. I call upon Kenyans today to take a paradigm shift of who we are. Change your mindset. Put yourself in that position that if you're in a government office or in the religious fraternity or you're in private sector, put yourself in that position that I want to be the first non-corrupt Kenyan, because change starts with an individual. Be that person number one to be non-corrupt. Give services freely. See the other person like it is you. You would not like to be asked to give 2-3 shillings to do something. Give free services. Let us inculcate a culture of love, because even the Bible says that love overcomes all. Let us not put money where love is supposed to be. If I come to your office, embrace the power of love to serve me. Inculcate a culture of living for my sake so that you serve me. But don't put money between. Let us avoid putting money between human and human. Because what we have done, this is human being giving this service and another human being waiting to receive the service. We have put money in between. That without money, many things cannot happen. But let me tell you, without money, we can do many things in this country. It's a beautiful nation. Let's get rid of this money influence in all that we have to do. Yes.
If you had a chance to lead the Kenya Anti-Corruption and Ethics Commission, what solutions would you propose for this menace of corruption?
Very well. What I would propose, number one, even before taking cases to the court, do you know where corruption comes? I said initially when I was defining corruption, it is a state of mind. It is a state of mind. It is not that non-ethical state of mind, that non-integrity state of mind, that non-God-fearing state of mind that causes you, that comes to the physical, and you find yourself doing what is in your mind. So by the way, when I see any corrupt person, I define that person as that personality. That is the way you are. That is your state of mind. So if I am to chair the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, number one, I would initiate sensitization workshops countrywide on the power of living for the sake of one another, the power of upholding high ethical standards in service delivery, the power of upholding high integrity in service delivery, and the power of positive mindset, and ultimately, the power of love of God. I would not rush to taking cases to the courts because we have done that many years and we have not gotten any results. But my key agenda, or my agenda number one for the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, is to educate Kenyans of who they are, coming to self-realization. Because why we are failing is to how. I think we don't know who we are again. Because the moment, Tony, you know who you are, by the time you think of going to the pocket and getting 1,000 shillings to bribe somebody to give you an ID, you will ask yourself a question and again, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? And if you have that positive conscience, if you have that fear of God in you, if you're that person who live for the sake of one another, you will corrupt nobody to give your service. And you will corrupt nobody to get service from them. So that's the kind of culture I would really advocate for, as we think of maybe going to courts and all these things. And even those who are in the courts, surely, it's a high time that we change our mindset. This is the only way that we are going to overcome this power, this negative power of money that has eaten to this economy through corruption. That indeed, like the maize scandal, seriously. Here comes a farmer. The farmer tolls from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Like, for example, one day I happened to be in Cherangani, and I slept in one of the villages, and that particular farmer woke up at 4 a.m. to go to the shamba to do this maize cultivation and all that. But when this particular farmer harvests the maize, the proceeds from the maize goes to the pockets of the rich, so that the rich can continue getting richer and the poor continue getting poorer. What kind of a society are we living in? Are we not thinking of those people who are languishing in poverty? Can we start living, actually, I'll repeat it, can we start living for the sake of one another? Because if we had embraced that in the maize scandal, we could not be seeing this that we are seeing. Because I would tell myself, if I'm in a position of being a senior minister in one of these ministries, then my responsibility here is to serve those people who are less endowed in life, is to serve the farmer. But when you tell me that out of the little energy the farmer is inputting into the maize, that little energy you are sucking it by pocketing the proceeds from the produce that the farmer is supposed to get, then I question even birthing leadership in this country. What system? Who are leaders? I question whether you are a leader.
When you talk about leadership, do you think that there is political goodwill to do away with this menace of corruption in Kenya?
Well, His Excellency the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, has been trying his best to ensure that we fight corruption. But, Your Excellency, I think the bottom line, well, what you're doing is good. That, first of all, people should go home. People should go home. If I was the President of Kenya today, na nikushike doing something to do with corruption, you will go home the following night. I think I like His Excellency, the former President Daniel Arap Moi. He used to wake up in the morning and the next few minutes you find yourself home. You know, no-nonsense style of leadership. Because where we are, we cannot continue compromising again. When I see farmers crying, Tony, that tells me we are in a period where now the president has to crack the whip. The leadership has to crack the whip because it's too much. Every area of our economy. Look at the standardization of commodities. You go to buy a kilo of sugar and it is 3/4 and you are being sold at the same cost as a kilo of sugar. Where is the Kenya Bureau of Standards? I think His Excellency is the time you crack a whip on all these things. You go to buy a kilo of meat. The standard is the standard of 1 kilo is 3/4, and you cannot talk because where you go to report, the police also corrupt. So what kind of a society are we living in? Yeah, you go to the matatu industry. I thank God because I, as the PSG president, have an opportunity to use matatus during my travels here and there. But unfortunately, I think I salute our cabinet minister, Honorable Matiang'i, and the Minister for Transport for bringing back the Michuki rules. But let me tell you, this morning it happened along Thika Road, that a matatu is the seats meant for 3 people. They are squeezing people so that they can sit 4. And that matatu happened to arrive to a center where there was a police woman. And what happened is, instead of her coming to address the situation, akachukua 50 bob from the matatu. Please, let's crack the whip even in the police force. So this corruption is, wow. It's an animal that really needs to be addressed with a no-nonsense perspective. Your Excellency, this is not a time to praise men and women. This is a time to do the right thing. We cannot continue like this as a nation. that when some people are trying to do things in the right way, when the CS for transport is trying to put order on our roads, there are people who are taking money from our roads so that the matatu can continue overloading. And indeed, that particular matatu is a non-roadworthy matatu. It should be out of the road with the shortest time possible, in fact. So I think we need to get into leadership with all our energy. We need, especially, that's why we are talking about, sometimes the elective system does not give us the right leadership that we want. We don't want a compromising leadership if we have to fight corruption. We have to stand firm. We have to do things in the right way. Money has to be secondary, but human life must be primary in all that we are doing as leaders.
In 20 seconds, yes, what is your parting shot on this issue? My
parting shot as the PSG president is that we must embrace a culture of living for the sake of one another. We must change our mindset. We must come to self-realization as human beings. We must embrace the power of love. We must fear God who created us and know that his CCTV is working and watching over you 24/7. Avoid corruption, because he will judge you harshly. Beside the judiciary of Kenya, God himself will judge you harshly. And he will judge you when you are still living in this world. You will not go anywhere before you pay for your deeds. Thank you very much.
Wow. Asante sana.
Yes.
That is Esther Waringa. She's the PSG president in Kenya. You heard that from Ambassador Esther Waringa, and as we discussed, it's a mindset issue. You need to change how you think, how you look at corruption, and how you are going to react at those situations when you are needed to react. Realize who you are so that you don't give 50 bob when it is not necessary. So just change your mindset, look at things more ethically, and you'll be good to go. And the menace of corruption, we will be done with it. My name is Tony Waweru. This is the State of the Nation show. Till next time, bye-bye.